Welcome back to the Out of Bounds podcast. I am Charlie Caleri alongside
Gavin Williams.
And today we're going to be recapping week 9 of the NFL. A little bit,
Sprinkle.
yeah. Mostly we're going to be talking about the trade deadline. We're going to talk about the Packers a little bit, talk about the Bills a little bit. And then finally, you guys have been waiting for this, talking about our mid-season predictions. Me and Gavin just went on the playoffpredictors.com. If you haven't gone on it, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty fun.
You can pick every game.
That's exactly what we did.
And it'll give you every game for the rest of the season, and it'll give you the standings at the end of the year. Yeah, pretty cool website. So we did that. We'll get into that, and then we'll talk about our picks for Week 10 coming up.
Yeah.
So loaded episode today, but a little bit different episode. But we thought with the trade deadline happening, mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gavin, how do you think the week went overall?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yesterday was a huge day.
Huge day in America.
And I'm not talking about the election. I'm talking about the trade deadline.
Yeah, no, that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
So I mean, we had a lot of big names kind of move places. It was a lot different. We saw some guys that we didn't even really know were on the trading block get traded. That's why I like this trade. This trade deadline was pretty entertaining, but I will say disappointing because I thought there was gonna be a lot more trades. But let's talk about them.
Let's talk about it.
So yesterday, some of the trades were Marshawn Lattimore going to Washington. We had Preston Smith going to Pittsburgh. We had Jonathan Mingo going to Dallas. We had Trey White going to Baltimore.
Yeah.
But we'll touch more back on it. Khalil Herbert to Cincy. And am I missing anything?
Those were the biggest ones. Those are the biggest ones that happened. But there's a few other ones.
Let's go through. Let's go through it. So Marshawn Lattimore, huge pick.
Yeah, obviously that's the biggest one probably for in my opinion yesterday. Biggest impact at least.
I think so too.
And I think Washington. I mean,
they're in win now mode. They know they are.
For years they've been waiting for that corner to come around, and they had a good draft, and they've had Kendall Fuller back there for a while, and but and he's a great corner. But Marshawn Lattimore, if you can go out and get a guy like him. Why not? Especially on the Saints team that needed to get rid of guys. Washington has the cap room for it right now at least. Maybe not for the future, but this is a good rental piece for them. If they know they have a special opportunity here, a rare opportunity here in Washington to really make something of this season. Because perfect example is Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I mean, it's tough getting back to the playoffs in general. I mean, look at this season for the Bengals. So Washington in the future, they know more than anybody how tough it is to get back to the playoffs, and how hard it is to keep their players healthy. So I think this is a huge win for Washington here.
Yeah,
but a big loss for New Orleans.
It's a big loss for New Orleans because they're selling their team.
Right.
But it's a big win for Washington because even though they have a rookie quarterback, I feel like they're in win now mode. Like they prove that they're good. They prove that they're going to contend with any team in the league. They prove that they're going to be the dogs for the future. So it's going to be that's a big pickup. Hopefully they can keep him there, though. It's one thing to bring him.
Right.
It's another thing to
I was
going to
say because they have the cap right now, but they definitely have to move some stuff around. Obviously, they have other big contracts. Like I know they have Jonathan Allen still in the books there.
I forgot about
that's
him.
Going to have to probably come off, and he's still a great player, but at some point he's going to have to go. But on the flip side for New Orleans here, I mean, you look at New Orleans' roster, and it's really not that bad on paper. I mean,
not bad.
They have guys like Kamara. I mean, Derek Carr's still there. They guys like Chase Young. They have good players on the team, but they just don't have the depth. That's where it really falls.
They also didn't have the coach.
No.
They fired the coach recently. Dennis Allen got fired. And a little stat for you guys. Every single team that Derek Carr has played for, there's been a head coach firing. So.
Yep. Yeah. And
Multiple.
Dennis Allen actually was one of them.
Twice.
Yeah.
One in Oakland and then one in New Orleans.
Yeah, so that was that trade.
Let's just go down the list. Because
moving on now to your team right here.
Yeah.
The Green Bay Packers making a trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Sending Preston Smith over to the Steelers for, what was it? Seventh round pick? Yeah, and you were not very thrilled with this move.
Yeah, it wasn't the fact that we got rid of Preston. It was the fact that we got goddamn 7th rounder. That's chump change.
We were saying also,
we were
talking about this, how the value of NFL picks and their, and out in the trades, in their value in trades is really different than any other league because, you look at Preston Smith, and if you put him in the draft right now, if you put him in the next year's draft class, you're not drafting him in the 7th round. You're looking at probably a 4th round, maybe third round grade for him. I mean, but that's not where the value is with the picks, which is insane to me. It's just how it is though. I understand it because you only get, one pick out of 32. You want to, maximize the value for it. But, trades like that don't make a ton of sense to me, at least from an outside perspective.
No, yeah, I also agree with that point. And I just, back to Preston Smith. It was an honor, Preston. It was a long couple of years. I want to knock on one for you right now, so I'm going to really quick. He never lost to the Bears. He was 12-0 against the Bears.
Wow.
So,
He owns them.
Yeah, I hope that our tradition can keep your record going. It was really an honor. It's gonna sound weird. It's never been the same since the Smith Bros got separated, but we still had Preston, but we didn't have Z. Speaking about Zadarius Smith,
I was going to say, let's talk about him.
that I am frustrated, anger, sad, all the emotions combined for my former guy going to a division rival.
Yeah, for the second time. So
time.
obviously
It wasn't his choice this time.
Obviously in Green Bay before, now played in Minnesota, and then moves on to Detroit now for his third time, moving his teams, and now staying in the NFC North.
As long as it's not for the Bears, right?
Yeah, so now he just hates the Bears. And I think Preston kind of maybe guided him away from the Bears.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit.
It's tough to see that one because a guy who you grew to love and everything. Then you see him go to the Vikings, and it's like, okay, it sucks. But then he goes to the Browns. It's like, okay, we can root for him again.
And you know what? I'm kind of in a similar situation with another trade that happened. Tre'Davious White going from the Rams to the Baltimore Ravens. And obviously we knew he was going to get traded. He was not playing well in L.A., didn't look very comfortable, didn't look like himself. You can tell he's still hurt. And then he requested trade. Him and his agent were working out some places, trying to find the, quote, perfect destination for him. The perfect destination ended up being Baltimore. Hopefully, I'm hoping that Buffalo is in on those conversations at least to maybe bring him back. I doubt it. But
he's too old.
But, just a tough situation. Just a guy, I was talking about it yesterday, just, a guy that you thought was going to retire in a Bills uniform. Didn't end up being that way. That happens like that. And I'm rooting for him in Baltimore, but I hope he doesn't win a Super Bowl. So unless the Bills are out, I mean, then I'll root for Trey.
Okay.
I'll always root for Trey.
See, I'm same kind of way for Zadarius Smith.
Yep.
It's just tough to see, but it's a huge move for Detroit as they lost Aiden Hutchinson this year, but now they improve again with Zadarius Smith, and he is a perfect guy to throw in that mess because they've been playing outstanding on that front five, front four, whatever they run. And now they had a guy, a Pro Bowler like Zadarius Smith. That's a huge add for them. Huge. And I want to also point out, too, with Preston Smith. Preston Smith was a huge add for the Steelers because that gives T.J. Watt and Cameron Hayward some help on that line. So look for these defenses to really upgrade, and the Baltimore with Trey White because they really need help in that cover.
It's going to help. It's going to help with depth at least. He might not play a ton to start, but I think towards the end of the year you'll really see his veteran leadership really help on the sideline at the very least. Yeah. And if not on the field.
Yeah. So just look out for these defenses to really start moving some pieces and getting some guys going because it's going to be really, really interesting.
Yeah, and obviously there was some big defensive moves, but I think there was a lot of good underrated offensive moves, and especially in Minnesota here. They got Cam Robinson and Cam Akers both in trades. Cam Robinson, the left tackle, Cam Akers, the running back. Those are two really good moves. I think that's really going to help with the running back depth. Ty Chandler has not been as good as they thought in that backup role. He's been also a little bit banged up for them. But Aaron Jones has been pretty good as that starting running back. So Cam Akers being in that goal line role maybe. For that team. And then Cam Robinson, he played a great game, got the game ball the other day in Minnesota, blocking for Sam Darnold out there. Good moves over there for Minnesota. Also, another good move that I think is underrated is Jonathan Mingo going to Dallas. I think this is not a good move for this season, but I think for the future. I think he's going to be a good complement to CeeDee Lamb in that offense.
Dak Prescott just got placed on IR, so he'll be out for at least 4 games, which means they're not even sniffing playoffs, which they weren't before. But
no, but I think
they're buried.
This is a good young receiver that kind of got buried in that Carolina depth chart, and I think he'll really shine with guys like Tolbert out there that can really space the field for him, especially with CD being out. He's that vertical threat kind of guy.
They should give Trey Lance a shot.
I think they should too. Why not?
He was a top 3 pick a couple of years ago. I know they have Cooper Rush, who I know Dallas fans love that.
You might as well see what you got.
But just see what you can do with him. Why not?
Right.
Why not? It's kind of like a couple of years ago when the Packers were experimenting with Jordan Love and everything, and Jordan Love was like the 3rd string, but Aaron Rodgers went out, and against the Chiefs, instead of playing Tim Boyle, they played Jordan Love. It's like you gotta recycle your pieces when you can. And this is a perfect opportunity to see if the kid's even decent
Right. Yeah.
He was good in those couple games he played, but we haven't seen him since.
I think you just got to see what you got. Yeah, but a few other good or underrated moves coming out of the AFC North here. Mike Williams going to Pittsburgh, that wide receiver.
That's a great move.
I think it's a good move for them because they needed a guy like that in that offense.
They just need that one extra guy, man. And that's and they have the Pickens, they have the Freiermuth, they have Najee, they have Russ.
Right.
They have a great offense. They're just missing that 2 or 3 receiver. Mike Williams can still play the outside. He can play the inside and mix some things up. He's an outside receiver.
They've been seeing a little bit too much of Calvin Austin this year on offense. I mean, you want him punt returning the ball, but you don't want him being your number 2 receiver.
So if he could be, and Mike Williams, his whole career has been a number 2 receiver. So he knows this role better than anybody.
Yep.
And he's
Let Pickens shine.
And he's got a veteran quarterback in the backfield with Russ. He's got young guys surrounding him. That offense is only looking better, even though we'll get into the Steelers in a little bit. They're going to be a sneaky team come playoff time. But we'll see how much they're 6-2 right now. We'll see how much they can really help them in the end.
Right, and former Steeler Deontay Johnson just got moved to Carolina this offseason, now moving to the rival, Baltimore Ravens. Very interesting move here. Great move for the Ravens.
The Ravens really were on one this offseason and trade deadline season.
I mean, what a compliment. I know I keep saying compliment, but it's great to mix him with Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews and Likely. I mean, they got a dynamic offense over there.
Yeah, Justice Hill.
Yeah, and you had Deontay Johnson, who could be that guy who could actually run decent routes for you and has good hands and good receiver skills.
Yes.
You're not just speed, like the other guys might have, but
Nelson Aguilar.
Great move for Baltimore. And I honestly think, you're going to call me crazy, but one of the most underrated moves of this trade deadline, staying in the AFC North here, is Khalil Herbert.
Yeah, that was a move that kind of shocked me because I didn't know he was still in the league.
Going to Cincinnati. He's going to be their backup running back to Chase Brown.
Yeah.
Because now Zach Moss going on IR. They made a move. They needed to make a move. They did it.
It was smart.
Got Khalil Herbert.
Smart.
Moved him in there. And Joe Burrow, the quote from him, he kind of seems done in Cincinnati. He kind of seems over everything. Kind of the hype is kind of worn off for him, I feel like. And he said, I'm just glad we got out and tried to get better. Kind of a shot in the face of the GM, but I think it is a good move. I think he's really going to help in the receiving game, especially with the young Chase Brown in that backfield.
Chase Brown's really good, too.
Because Herbert's been around. Khalil Herbert's been around the league for a little bit.
He was a one-time Pro Bowler, I think. Yeah. I just didn't know he was still in the league. That was the thing. When I saw he got traded, I'm like, wait. Even if he is still in the league, he's still on the Bears, and I did not know that. It caught me off guard.
Yeah, that was a big move, but other notable moves, Josh Uche to Kansas City, Jerome Brown to Tennessee, Ernest Jones to Seattle, some good defensive line moves there for those teams, just bulking up on depth. I think that Josh Uche is going to be an underrated player, former Michigan Wolverine. Another guy going from one of my least favorite teams to another one of my least favorite teams, but that's just how it is, I guess, when they leave Michigan. I still love them. But it kind of grounds me with those teams, a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was a good trade deadline this year, very active trade deadline.
And I think it was more active, more so a week or two ago, maybe even 3 weeks ago, especially when the Devontae thing. That's when it started.
I mean, the biggest moves obviously were Devontae, Amari Cooper, and DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, those 3 receivers getting moved all on the same deadline, along with guys like Deontay Johnson,
some guys in the
Mike
same
Williams.
day.
Those wide receivers, a lot of receiver movement. And I think these teams really got out and got pieces that they needed. I feel like a few years in the past, I feel like a team like the Bengals would have just eaten that and taken the depth on their roster and say, hey, Chase Brown, you're a full-time number 1 running back. But they looked at their offense and said, hey, we have a 2 running back system. We can't really run that offense just through Chase Brown. So, that's the effects of losing a guy like Joe Mixon. It's all just a ripple effect in the NFL.
He's looking to have the best year of his career so far.
Yeah,
he's balling out.
I mean, that's all in effect there. But moving on now we're going to talk about our teams real quick. And I just want to touch quick, not about the Bills' whole last game. I just want to talk about this fourth quarter, second half specifically, in Tyler Bass. This guy struggled a lot. Missed that extra point early in the game. Everybody's moaning and groaning and saying, hey, we got to get rid of this guy, including myself in that second quarter. But you know what? You going in the locker room, not looking great with this team, and you look up at the scoreboard and you're like, hey, this is not where we want to be. Not where we want to be, but, we're playing the Dolphins. We think we can get it back on track. And, come out of the second half, and I was saying, I think we really have a shot to win this game. This feels like a Tennessee kind of feel of a game. And you know what? The offense really turned up and stepped up. But that defense, We needed to get some stops. They didn't get it. They've gotten stops for us in the past, so it's okay. We ended up getting the win. But let me talk about that last play right there. I mean, we get up to the line with about 12 seconds left, and we're looking at a 61-yarder. And I'm looking around the room, and our Bills correspondent, Ryan Taylor, says we should punt this. And I go, RT, I don't think so. I said, I think we should take the shot, try to win the game. If you miss it, obviously, you're not putting yourself in a great spot because you're giving Miami about 5 seconds to throw a Hail Mary, do a lateral play, maybe Miami Miracle Part 2 kind of thing. But RT was more worried about that in the situation. I said, we need to trust our kicker. We need to go with him. Even though it's a 61-yarder and he hasn't been great, you got to try to win the game. You can't just punt it and try to let them win the game. So I liked how we at least, kicked it. And then Bass, I mean, just having the confidence to even go out there, look at the 61-yarder and say, hey, I can drill this. And guess what? He absolutely drilled that ball. It had room to spare. I mean, that ball might have been good from an NFL record.
That was good from 67.
Straight down the middle. One of the best pure kicks I've ever seen. And the crowd pop on that was something I'll never forget. It was quiet, got silent, and then just crowd roar. If you haven't seen the on-field angle of Bass hitting that, the crowd pop is unreal. It'll give you chills if you're a Bills fan. Even if you're not a Bills fan, if you appreciate a good, some good audio levels, you'll like that clip. But overall, I think this is going to carry the Bills overall. If you didn't think they had chemistry before, they definitely got chemistry now. And I said that about the defense last week. I think this will only bring this team together now. Offense, defense, special teams, bring them all together. Coaching staff's involved now. And I think the Bills are rolling in a really good direction. I really like how we're rolling going into these tough games we got coming up. It all starts this week, though, in Indianapolis. Shout out to our Colts correspondent, Ian Kennedy. He will be at the game. I was potentially going to the game. Unfortunately, some situations came up, and I, will not be in attendance. But, I'll be rooting against Ian from the couch. He'll be there. And I'll give him an earful when he gets back and the Bills get a win.
All right. I like that a lot. So before I go on to the Packers really quick, I'm going to go on to my 2 MVPs because it's that time of the day. We have my fantasy MVP first. This man cooked. He did something nobody's ever seen before. I'll give his stats first, though. 27 carries, 159 yards, a touchdown, 3 receptions, 40 yards, a touchdown, 32.9 fantasy points. The guy who just came up with the reverse hurdle, Saquon Barkley.
Oh, one of the best plays in games.
That was the best
stretches.
That was the best move I've ever seen in my life. I will say I don't care. Juke moves, hurdles, a backwards hurdle. That is number one.
I've never seen anything like that in all my years of watching football. I've never even.
It's been a lot of years.
Never even thought of anybody thinking of turning around during a play and jumping over somebody and actually doing it.
And doing it successfully too.
And I'm still baffled by it right now.
Right when I saw that, I'm like, yep, MVP status.
Yeah,
I already knew it.
Yeah, I'm glad you put him in there because, I mean, along with that play, he had a great game. And he's on one of the best stretches of his career right now.
He's cooking, man.
He is absolutely going nuclear right now for the Eagles.
Which is helping Hurts so good right now.
Once again, this is one of the things that I said about this Eagles team. They're going to get hot. They're going to stay hot when they get hot. And they're hot right now. So they're going to stay hot.
Charlie's been saying this for 4 weeks, ever since he put them in the number one.
I'm riding it, man.
Ever since he put them up there.
I had them in my NFC Championship game still. I have them hosting the NFC Championship game.
Ever since that was said, they have not lost a game.
Yeah.
And they've only done great things, especially Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, and before we get to your MVP here, I also want to point out another creative play that happened this week. We had a little Philly special happen.
We did.
In that Ravens-Broncos game.
And it was a you got mossed moment.
Bo Nix just mossed. I don't even know who it was, but Bo Nix mossed one of the Ravens cornerbacks. I think that's maybe why they went out and got Trey White. But what a cool play here from Bo Nix and the Broncos, because at the time, it was a close game, and that tied the game, actually. And I said to all the boys in the room, I said, this is a game the Broncos want to win. I mean, they lost by 31, or 21, whatever it ended up being. But anyway, I think that was just a cool play that happened this week.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. I remember when that first happened, I started screaming, holy S-H-I-T, holy S-H-I-T.
Crazy.
Went out, ran out. Charlie, did you guys see the Bo Nix just like mossed somebody? He's like, no, he was locked into the Bills game. So then the highlight comes on, and he's like, holy crap.
And if you watch the CBS broadcast, they really never go out and show highlights from another game, but they did it twice. They did it for the Saquon play, and they did it for the Bo Nix play.
Yeah.
It was just insane.
So they really, that's when you know they're great plays.
Yeah. So your actual MVP for the week.
My actual MVP is someone who needed I think it was like more of like a redemption week for this person, and they really came out and they underperformed, but their second half they just performed so well that I thought there's not a way I can forget. You can't forget Tyler Bass here. You gotta throw him MVP because I'm putting him in here because that's my game of the week. And in a game of the week, there's always gonna be someone in that game of the week who's a game changer, not a manager. Tyler Bass is a game changer in this game. 61 yards. He's been missing everything all year. He couldn't even make an extra point.
I'm telling you, that kick means so much. Like that kick. I mean, I've not seen the dude smile since January. That could be the turning point of the Bills' season where they unload and just unleash on every single opponent that they face. I hope that is. I've never seen a team come together and celebrate like that after a win, like a regular season win. Like that wasn't, especially on a good team like this too.
Yeah, I think what really solidified my my MVP, the race for it was when I saw the game ball go to him after post game and he got really emotional. I'm like, this guy's an MVP.
It just means more to him, man. I mean, honestly, he turned off his social media. He deleted all of his social media right after the game last year. He knew, you obviously knew it was messing with his head. He's been thinking about this for 10 months. And that moment, I think, right there cleared his head. And I think he's going to get his confidence back. And I think it's going to really help us throughout the season. I think he's going to hit some really big kicks down the line for us.
Hey,
I'm excited, man.
Let's see if the Week 9 MVP can
I've always
keep it
been
going.
a T-Bass backer. You guys know that. And we're all really rooting for him. All the Bills fans.
My brother is too.
We love him too.
My brother's got his signed jersey up on.
He's the best, man.
The
I got
wall.
T-Bass socks. I got T-Bass socks.
He's got those too.
Yeah, they're tough.
They're great.
I like them.
So now we'll get into a game that was a little less fortunate. In a good old classic beatdown, the score doesn't show it. 24-14. Detroit Lions hammered the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau in the pouring rain. For the Lions, for a little fun fact, this was their first outdoor game this year, which is kind of interesting. We went 9 weeks without playing an outdoor game. But anyways, beatdown. 24-14 was the score. It was 24-3. Let's be honest here. Some garbage time touchdowns. They were cute. They were nice for fantasy, but they were cute. All right? But I was trying to tell Charlie, I'm not mad about this game. Not mad about this game. Whatever happens. It was the Lions. The Lions are an amazing team, which they are, which I'm not taking away from them right now. But there's only one team who beat the Packers on that Sunday, and it was the Packers. The Packers beat themselves that day. We got some stats. I'm like the stat guy. I just love the stats.
You gotta love the stat. I just want to point out a stat real quick here. I know you're gonna hate this, but can we just point out Jared Goff and his passing efficiency right now? I don't know his completion percentage, but every week he went 18 for 22 passing this week. Yep. This guy every single week has less than 5 completions on more than 20 attempts, usually 25 attempts. This is kind of a lower week for him too.
This was a lower week, and
he was still only 4 incompletions.
Everybody thought he was gonna be bad too. I mean, he had 2 gloves on. You don't see that a lot.
And there's never a pick either.
There's never.
He threw for 145 yards.
He loves
145 yards and a touchdown, but no picks every week really helps his team. But when he throws a pick, he usually throws 2.
Yeah.
So
it's tough. So now we'll get into it a little bit. 11 penalties. Come on. I am sick and tired of the holding, of the false starts. Let's just say it's a really goddamn good thing that they're on a bye week right now, because who even knows if I pick them this week. I'm disgusted with this team. Disgusted. A pick 6. What in the actual is Jordan Love doing? What is he doing?
And let me just mention,
is throwing it to the other team. What in the fudge? I love fudge. Is he doing?
I was sitting next to where Gav was standing during that play, and he was excited for that and the end of that quarter and the end of that drive. He thought they were gonna score, and just seeing, I just remember the look on his. It looked like a balloon deflating. It literally looked like a balloon. And I'm sorry I'm laughing at this, but I remember the look on your face, and you were just like, "Are you kidding me? Like what I just watched right now?"
There might have been a couple swear words in there. Might have been a couple. Might have a couple F-bombs in that sentence.
It was just the fact, because I was watching you when he threw the ball, and you were just like, "What is that throw?" And then he caught it, and you're like, Are you kidding? He picked it, and then he returned it.
Yeah.
And then just the whole cycle of it.
It's just weird because his
It was
two
just-
worst plays have come in after his best year of his career, and didn't record a pick six last year. Has two this year. So that was just that's just one thing that happened. Jordan Love sucked. Donkey. He sucked donkey. All right. 23 for 39, 273 yards. Most of those yards came in the fourth quarter when it didn't matter. All right. Missed field goal. I'm not gonna bust Brandon McManus. It was raining. It's a far 46-yard kick. Didn't look good. Happens. But the drops gotta stop. Dontavian Wicks dropped one on the goal line. That would have brought it within, I think it was 3. Dropped that ball. They beat themselves. 6 drops on the day. 6. You should not have more than 3. You're an NFL team. And a couple more stats.
I would say you get 1 a quarter.
Yeah.
1 a quarter.
1 a quarter. Four
But if you
drops.
use 2 in the first, I mean, you only got 2 left.
Exactly. So, total yards of offense. By the way, I want to give a really quick shout out. Josh Jacobs, you played your butt off. You played amazing. 13 carries, 95 yards. So, total yards for the game, the Packers had 411, and then Detroit Lions had 261. They're shooting themselves in the foot when they want to. And here's my last stats. Like I said, 11 penalties, 6 drops, missed field goals, pick 6. But the 3 botched snaps. Come on. I know Elton Jenkins is not our center. I know our center's out right now, Josh Myers, but come on. It's a center exchange. That should be clockwork anyways. Quote from one of my favorites, one of my favorite fan pages out there. Shout out to Lambo Leapers. You guys are amazing. They said this. The Lions are great, but the Packers held them to 24 and only lost by 10. They could and they should have won this game, but they beat themselves. That's all I got to say about that game. On to the bye week where we can't lose. So we're back on the up.
Sit back, relax a little bit this week. Get
Yeah,
your
man.
popcorn. Get your
I'm
popcorn.
going to get the red zone going. It's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be a great,
Oh,
great
yeah.
Sunday for
Oh,
me.
yeah. Yeah, we're going to get into our it's mid-season right now. So we're going to get into our predictions for the end of the season, the playoff predictions, and we're going to do the 1 through 10. I know it's 1 through 7 gets in, but we're going to tell you the 3 teams that we have on the bubble.
I'm in the hunt on the
Because
bubble.
let me tell you this, when I was growing up, it was a big deal when we saw the Bills in the hunt. That was a big, I'm telling you, that was almost better than getting a Christmas present. Seeing the Bills in the hunt was a huge deal. And it was usually at our Christmas party, our family Christmas party, we'd look, and we usually be playing the Raiders or some team in week 14, week 15, back when it was a 17-game season. And you look on the screen, you see Bills at 6-6 sitting in the hunt there. You're like, hey, we got a chance, man. And then you look at the schedule ahead. You got the Patriots twice.
With Tom.
You got the what?
With Tom.
With Tom. Yeah, you got the Steelers in there. So somehow you got
Big
Peyton
time.
Manning and the Broncos. You got to play them. But we always thought we had a chance. But that's why we're doing the hunt, because we want to give those fans a chance. And we know some of some fans that are on some of these teams that are going to be in the hunt. But let's start off right at the top. AFC East 1 seed. This is collective, by the
Should we
way.
go 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
We're gonna go 1 to 10.
All right, I
feel
like that.
Yeah, this is a collective for me and Gavin. Like we said, we went on playoffpredictors.com, picked all the games, and this is what we ended up with. So, this is straight from us. We're not gonna tell you the records because they might have been a little bit off, but
Yeah.
these are our predictions so far. Starting in the AFC, the 1 seed. It's
By
gonna
the
be
way, this is the only bracket we're gonna make
yeah,
until
until
the
playoffs.
actual playoff
Until
time.
playoffs.
So dial in, guys.
Dial in.
Listen
And
in
this will be on our Instagram.
at Out of Bounds Podcast with a dot between every single word.
So, once again, starting in the AFC, the 1 seed, we got the Kansas City Chiefs.
We don't see a lot of teams beating them. Let's just say that.
Yeah, we think they get to 2 losses max.
3 losses.
3 losses
most.
max, but that's also including them sitting their guys in week 18 if they lose
Yeah.
2 games, which they probably won't. So 2-3 losses max for them. They're probably locked in at the 1 seed, still undefeated.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough for them to even lose a game. Number 2 seed, and this is where we came into a little bit of a tiebreaker situation here. 2 and 3.
Already.
We had the Ravens at 2, Bills at 3, and it all came back down to that week 4 game,
Sunday night game
in Baltimore, where the Bills got
Sunday night
absolutely monkey
massacre,
stomped.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't a good game for us. We were 3-1 at the time, ended up being 3-2 the next week, but now we're bounced back. But
6-2.
Bills in the 3 seed, Ravens at the 2 seed. I could definitely see this happening. I'd be fine with it. I just want the Bills to get in. And I really just don't want to be the 4 seed. I think to be in the 4 seed this year is
tough.
Really tough
It's
disadvantage, especially because, you got to play that best team that didn't win their division.
Yeah.
And I feel like this year, that's a big year for that.
In either conference.
Either conference, especially the NFC, but the NFC, we'll talk about that's loaded over there.
Yeah.
4 seed, if you're doing process of elimination here, it'd be the AFC South winner. We predict it's going to be the Houston Texans.
Yeah, we think the race is over. We don't think the Colts have a shot to win the division. So we have the Texans.
Some
going
say it's
in.
too early to call.
Yeah, some do say that, but
We don't.
We
don't.
think the Texans got it. Nico Collins is coming back this
Yep.
week. That is something to look forward to this week or next week. One of the two.
This week.
This week, yeah.
Very
So that
excited
is something
for
to
it.
look forward to. Can they get back where they were just 4 weeks ago?
I think they
We'll see.
can. I think that Nico coming back is really going to change that whole dynamic. Of that.
Especially
It was a hamstring injury. He was
It
out for
was.
4 weeks. He's going to be healthy again,
And then
he's going to be
Diggs
back
out.
to. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
And with Diggs out, that opens up the door for the best combo. I mean,
Right.
they loved each other.
right.
And, like, they were the
It's
best
also going to
combo
get
last
Schultz a
year.
little bit more involved too.
Yeah.
I feel like.
And they were the best combo all the way up to the injury, and then, stuff
Yep.
happens. And then they're going to be right back to where they started.
Regardless, we have them at the 4 seed. This is where it gets really interesting. So
listen in.
from 5 to 10, the seeding wise, any of these teams could be in any of these spots probably at the end of the
No,
season.
5 to 9.
5 to 9. 10 seed. The 10 seed is the Indianapolis Colts. And we had them at 8 and 9. I know we weren't saying the records, but we had them at 8 and 9. And they were just right in there. But anybody from 5 to 9, sorry, Ian. Anybody from 5 to 9, you could throw in there at that 5 seed, 6 seed, 7 seed, 8 seed, 9 seed. Any of them. So in order, this is what we had. And let me just say, if I was picking not on this website, I would have had a completely different thing, but this is what we had.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 seed, we had the Denver Broncos getting in there. And that might shock some people.
That might.
That might shock some people because at 6 seed, we have the 3rd place in the AFC West, the Los Angeles Chargers.
3 of the 4 teams from the AFC West got into this playoffs this year.
And somehow-
that's what we thought the opposite was only going to happen. We thought only the Chiefs
Only the Chiefs.
were going to make it, especially in the beginning of the year. We were like, yep, scratch it. It's just the Chiefs, whatever, move on. But there's a legit shot there's 3 teams in the playoffs from the AFC East or West.
Yeah, and it could be the same thing in the AFC North too, but we only have 2. 7th seed being the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have
think
them
they cool
getting
down.
in. We have them getting in over the 8 seed New York Jets and the 9 seed Cincinnati Bengals. So the Jets, unfortunately, you might have to wait another year to get in. A lot of season left, obviously, but that loss to the Patriots honestly really
It did F
screwed
them
you
up.
guys out of a playoff spot.
This is the thing, too. Week 18, it was a win-you-go-win moment.
For the Bengals and the Steelers, right? Yeah.
We had the Steelers at home.
Yep.
When you're in, they won. They were in. That means the Bengals were out at
Could have
9 and
easily
8.
been the Bengals in the 7th seed. Could have easily been the Jets if they tied. I think that game too,
I think so.
which
Something
would
like that.
which is always a possibility in the late season games. But that's our 1 through 10 right there in the AFC. Just to review in order from 1 to 10. It's Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, Texans, Broncos, Chargers, Steelers, and on the outside Jets, Bengals, Colts. So the matchups in that first round would be Ravens playing at home against the Steelers, be the Chargers going to Buffalo playing against the Bills, and the Broncos going to Houston playing
Those are
against the
some
Texans.
good games, man.
And those would be some very interesting games that happen, especially that Steelers-Ravens
Yeah.
game in Baltimore.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. So moving on now to the NFC. This is where it gets a little bit more top-heavy, definitely.
Yeah.
And you got the bottom teams like Carolina. You got your New York Giants. You got your even New Orleans Saints and Dallas Cowboys this year. Kind of a weird feel right there.
Yeah.
But the rest of the teams right in here, start right up at the top. The Detroit Lions, actually, we had as the number 1 seed. And you know what? Obviously, I didn't have that as my prediction at the quarter the way through the season, but that's where we're at.
No, it is. The Lions are they're unstoppable right now. And it's going to be hard seeing them lose another game for the rest of the year unless they have to bench some people. But I will probably be picking them every single week except for when they play the Packers again.
Wow. I mean, I'll probably pick them against the Bills. I don't know. I don't even know that game. That might be a game where I pick against the Bills.
We'll see.
Probably not, though. Number 2 seed. This is very interesting here.
Because this is also a tiebreaker.
Yep. And we have the Washington Commanders at the 2 seed here. And if you realize the tiebreaker there, the Eagles are the 5 seed in this scenario.
We had the same record for them,
Yeah.
but the tiebreaker must have been points.
Must have been. And we had them tying, actually. Washington won their home game. Philly won their home game. We had them those predictions made. But Washington was the 2 seed in
Maybe
our
they had a
predictions.
better division record.
Who knows?
Uh-huh.
But In the 3 seed here, we have the NFC South winner. In our opinion, it's going to be the Atlanta Falcons.
They're looking really good this year.
They're looking a little too good right
Kirk
now.
is looking great. I like the way Drake London's looking. I like the way Bijan, Kyle Pitts, the entire defense, Jesse Bates, Simmons. I like the way that team looks.
If you look at the league this year, the biggest trend you'll see with the quarterbacks isn't touchdowns, it's efficiency. You know, that's why the Falcons and Lions have been so good this year. You know, that's why even a team like the Broncos have been in this year, because Bo Nix doesn't throw many incompletions. You know, he doesn't give his team many reasons to not trust him. You know, he doesn't give the ball away too much. So, you know, and same with the Vikings. I mean, you could throw them in there too. I think this is the year of efficiency in the NFL for the quarterback. It's a little bit of a different year, but that's where we're sitting at right now. We have the Falcons at the 3 seed.
Definitely.
4 seed right now, NFC West winner if you're doing the process of elimination. And you know what? It doesn't make this team any worse that they're the 4 seed and the worst division winner, but it's just this division beat up on everybody, beat up on each other. And they were injured a lot of the year too.
Yeah.
But we have the Niners at the 4 seed.
We still have I mean, it's still hard to deny them, especially with CMC coming back, and we have Debo will come back healthier, and Brock Purdy's going to be good, and they're still going to be high like Jawan Jennings and Kittle.
Obviously, Ayuk being out is going to be tough.
It's going to be tough, but they still have the pieces to rally.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what we saw when it came to being the better team in that division, because we have them over the Rams and the Cardinals.
Right. And moving on now to the 5 seed was the Eagles, like we said, and
no shocker, they're hot.
It's either gonna be them or probably Washington sneaking in at that 5 seed. Whoever loses that division.
I think it's gonna be 2-5 though. I think that is how it's gonna be.
I think so too, and I think that the 6th seed we have as the Minnesota Vikings. I think that'll be the second team in the NFC North this year. So,
yes.
In my opinion, and we have the Vikings at that spot right there because of their win earlier against the Green Bay Packers, which is gonna loom large.
It's a big win for them early in that season, and as long as they can keep winning, they control their own destiny.
And at the 7th seed,
got the Green Bay Packers, man.
Yeah, man. Sneaking in.
Yeah, it's a little scary because back-to-back years in the 17 when this year was supposed to be a 5 seed or a 2 seed kind of year, so it kind of sucks. But
you got to look at the NFC this year.
But the NFC is stacked this year.
Right. You didn't think Washington was going to be
We
as
haven't
good.
seen the NFC this stacked in a while.
Right. I was thinking back to the like when New Orleans and Seattle and San Fran, like those years in Green Bay, like when all those teams were top of the top.
Yeah.
You know, Dallas even throw that, maybe 2016, maybe around that year. That was maybe the last time the NFC was loaded.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, 8, 9, 10 in order we have is the Buccaneers, the Rams, and the Cardinals. 3 teams that, you know, you look at them and they just either too little too late or they were hurt. And that's the reason for the Bucs mostly not getting in.
Because they were hurt.
Having Godwin out for the whole season, having Mike Evans out for this long is really going to be tough for them. And the Rams, I mean, same thing for them. I mean, they were without Puka a lot of the year. They were without Kupp a lot of the year. And like we mentioned, that depth on defense is not as good as it used to be.
And then with the Cardinals, it's more of just inexperience. And I think they're going to be back.
They're right
next
there,
year.
man.
Yeah.
They're right there.
But they're going to be back, and they're going to be better, and they're gonna kick some butt next year.
Give them one more year, and I think they're going to be slotted in
at the 7th seed next year, maybe.
It's crazy to say because I mean I'm rooting for the Commanders to stay up here, but it's weird. It's weird to see them.
It is weird.
At the top of the conference. Yeah,
it's one thing to
and
be like a wild card.
Good, yeah, I know.
But they're legit.
Yep.
And
they look like a legit.
There's not
team
a lot
right
of games that I'm going to pick against them this year. So
no. So that's our mid-season predictions right there, mid-season playoff predictions.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you agree with us? Do you not? Who do you guys think that your AFC NFC championship's going to be up to this point? And let's just get back into present day maybe a little bit and talk about this week and the games this week. It's going to be Week 10 coming up. Teams on a bye are the Packers, Browns, Raiders, and Seahawks. Some interesting teams on a bye there.
Thank God we got to buy it, because if there's one week we need to buy, it's for Jordan Love to get healthy. No more mistakes. Play the Bears week 11.
Packers are the only one of those teams really in a real playoff race. Seahawks, you could throw them in the wild card race right there, but
Packers need this one bad.
Packers definitely need this bye.
It was the perfect time for the bye. So
it is perfect timing.
Let's go right into it. So the Bengals do play at the Ravens on Thursday Night Football. This is a good Thursday night game.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. This is the first good Thursday night game we've had, or
Well,
obviously we've had some
Falcons,
good games.
Bucks.
We've had some good games, but leading up to it, that we've been hyped up. This season, it's one of the best ones that we've had. So in Baltimore, divisional game, AFC North matchup. It's going to be a hard-nosed game. It always is when these kind of teams play. Who you got in this game, Gav?
For all the reasons that I don't even think I need to say, I got the Ravens. I think they're going to monkey stomp them. I think they'll win by 2 scores, 10 or 14, maybe 13, maybe 12. I don't know. By 2 scores, though. I really like the Deontay Johnson ad. I think he might get a couple of catches. But I just love Derrick Henry in this game running all over one of the worst rushing defenses in the league.
I was going to say, I think Derrick Henry gets in twice. I think the Ravens win pretty good. But I think the Bengals keep it close. I think it's going to look... I am still under the influence that the Eagles-Bengals game last week was a close game. Because I watched that game, and it was close if you watched it. I swear if you watched that game. But it's going to be the same kind of vibe this week.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah. Moving on now to the Germany game.
The Munich.
I
Germany
have seen
game.
a lot of ads for this game and promotions for this game.
That's really weird.
And it's funny because half of them, and every single time that you see an NFL ad or promotion for a game, what do they usually always include? The teams, right? This is the first time I've ever seen a promotional ad for a game where they don't include the teams.
It's weird, too, because they're like, this is football country.
Right.
Like, what?
Right. So the game this week is the Giants at Panthers.
In Munich.
And that probably makes a lot of sense if you didn't know why they weren't showing the teams now. That's why. Not a great game, but it's football regardless. Football on
man.
Sunday
It
morning,
is football.
and I will be watching it. And the Panthers, honestly, coming off a great game last week, winning against the Saints 23-22. Bryce Young getting his first NFL win under his belt, and that's a big stepping stone for him. So I got the Panthers actually this week. I think I got them winning back-to-back games for the first time in God knows how long. And I have them doing it in another country, in Germany.
All right. I'm not going to do the Panthers here. I think the Panthers played a bad Saints team. Playing out flat out and simple. I think the Giants played a really good Commanders team last week, and they competed. And for that reason, I'm going the Giants because I like the way Malik Neighbors plays the game. I like Tracy. I like their defense a lot more than the Panthers' defense. The Panthers' defense is garbage.
And I hate to say it, Daniel Jones has been playing some pretty decent ball right now.
Decent. Not good.
Decent ball.
Decent.
That's why I said decent.
So I got the Giants in this one.
Bears are hosting the New England Patriots this week in Chicago. Sunday, 1 o'clock. Big game there in Chicago. Not really. I got the Bears in this game.
It's a big game for Chicago.
It's a big game for Chicago. Right.
I also got the Bears in this game. I do not think... This is weird. Now we have... we went from last week. Or not last week. A couple weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. So from the 1 and the 2 pick, now we're going to the 1 and the 3 pick. So it's kind of funny.
In last week, let's talk about Drake May a little bit last week. What an incredible play at the end of the game against the Titans to force OT. Obviously, they ended up not winning that game. But big play regardless for Drake May. Scrambling out, kind of Johnny Manziel-esque, throwing it up. And then it was... Who caught that? I don't even remember.
No, I don't remember. I thought it was going to be Hunter Henry, but I don't think it was.
I don't remember. Regardless of the fact, caught in the end zone for the touchdown, tied the game, go to OT, they ended up losing. But, good. Once again, this is one of those games that you look for the Patriots. Good stepping stone for them. Good stepping stone for Drake May and Gerard Mayo for this team. And I think he's their franchise quarterback. I think he's proved that.
Yeah, I think he is. I 100% think he is.
But I got the Bears in this game.
Yeah, I have the Bears too. I think there's not enough for me to pick the Patriots. I like how Drake May's playing, but he only put up 17 points.
They put up 17,
against,
10 before that last play.
Yeah, so
not much offense there.
Yeah, for that reason, I'm going to take Caleb Williams to probably have a field day in this game.
Yep, me too. 49ers at Bucks is the next game. This is a matchup we see almost every year now, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I feel like these games always have a pretty good game. But I got the Niners in this one. I think they're going to have a good bounce-back week coming off a bye. Them and the Steelers coming off a bye. And I think getting McCaffrey back this week is really going to propel this team into the next level like we were talking about. And I don't think the Bucks have enough right now with some of their guys out to really match that,
Yeah, so for all those reasons as well, I'm going for the Niners. I really like Christian McCaffrey coming back, and now they're not going to be afraid to run a 2-back set with Jordan Mason.
I was going to say that's going to be another thing to add to their offense because they haven't really run a 2-back set without Debo at least. And now let's throw Jordan Mason in there. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because he's a great player too. So Kind of found a diamond in the rough there. And hopefully a diamond in the rough with this game right here. Broncos at Chiefs. We're both hoping for a Broncos win.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to get done. I think the Chiefs are going to continue to roll and be 9-0.
I think so too. I don't know. The Chiefs are just rolling. Travis Kelce looked really good, so if they can just keep using him. D-Hop got 2 touchdowns last week. So, well, let's just see if the Chiefs can keep it going, because if they can, it's going to be the scariest team to play come January.
Yeah, but this would be a great win for the Broncos, and obviously would solidify them as we have them as the 5 seed, I guess. It'd be a big win for the Ravens and the Bills and the Texans as well to try to get back into that 1 seed race. Because, Bills still play the Chiefs. Anything could really happen here. So that would be huge if they can drop a game before they play us next week. So it's gonna be huge. Big game next week.
Yeah.
I'm already getting nervous for it. But here's a bigger game for this team right here. Buffalo Bills got to win this game first. In Indianapolis, touched on it a little bit. I got the Bills in this game. Sorry, Ian.
I got the Bills in this game. I can't pick the Colts after what I've seen from them.
Yeah, and you said you wanted to pick the Colts.
I was telling Charlie before we started recording, it's like, I just really wish they were where we thought they were going to be, because if that was the case, they'd probably be right in that race with you guys, and I'd be picking them. But no, they're not. So
100%. I didn't think the season was going to go how it is going, but we're here now, so you can only pick what you got.
Yep.
That's Bills at Colts right there. Steelers at Commanders is the next game. This will be a good game. Great game. Mr. Unlimited going into Washington.
This is a good test.
FedEx Field is going to be a great test for Jaden Daniels because that Steelers defense swarms the ball.
For both teams, it's going to be a good test.
Right.
Because I think Russ needs that big test, and this is the first big test he's
Whatever
had.
defense gets more stops, obviously is going to win this game. But I know how cliche that sounds, but that's the story of the game this week. I mean, if you get the important stops, you will win the game.
And I think the Commanders' defense will do that this week. I think the Commanders' defense has been slept on, and I think that it's going to be an adjustment for that Pittsburgh offense getting Mike Williams, and they're not going to get him involved. I think Russ is going to struggle in this game. So I got the Commanders here.
I think it's going to be a big Najee Harris game. Yeah, like you said, but yeah, I agree. I think Russ is going to struggle in this game, unfortunately. Our guy, tier 1 guy.
Tier 1.
And by the way, we might actually come out with a tier list. We've been talking about tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 for a while now. Guys like Geno Smith, Bo Nix up there, tier 1 with Russ.
Sam Howell's
up there still.
Or not last season.
And obviously,
season 4.
maybe tier 2 is a guy like Davis Mills. Shout out if you know how much we love Davis Mills or how much I love Davis Mills.
You're a real one if you remember that. And Sam Howell.
You are a real one if you remember those
days.
Anyway, though,
those season 2 days.
Back to the picks this week. I got the Commanders in this game beating the Steelers.
So do I. Then we have the Vikings at the Jags, and I think I got the Vikings here just because I can't pick the Jags.
I can't justify picking the Jags either, even though I think this – I did tell you I think this is a game where
this could be the trap game.
I feel like the Jags could come out and win. I'm still kind of thinking maybe I might pick them, but I just don't think I can.
Okay.
Just because I feel like I'd be giving you a free game. So I'm going to go Vikings in this one.
Next game we have Falcons at Saints, and with that,
give me the Falcons, man.
Yeah, the Falcons. The Saints. Are
Kirk
horrible.
looks too good right now. Bijan looks too good right now, and honestly, Kyle Pitts looks too good right now.
And the Saints are without a coach right now. So
right, yeah.
Give me the Falcons.
The Rizzy, what's his name?
I don't even know.
That's his last name. I think is Rizzy.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
He ain't
so
no
they were
Rizzler.
doing some fun with some. They made some shirts or whatever.
He ain't no Rizzler though.
No, he's not. He's not a Rizzler.
We have Titans at Chargers next, and a must-win for the Chargers, especially against a bad team. And they have to beat a bad team. I have them beating with the bad team, so give me the Chargers here.
I have the Chargers as well in this game. Even though the Titans won last week, it was against the
it's against the Patriots.
It was against the Patriots, but and like I said, we have the Chargers in the playoffs right here, so they got to start winning some games. Starts right here with this one. Also, just got a breaking news from Adam Schefter right here. Bengals are listing wide receiver T. Higgins as doubtful for Thursday's game against the Ravens.
So that helps
only solidifying our Ravens pick that we just made about 2-3 minutes ago.
Yep.
Or 5 minutes ago, however long ago it was. But yeah, that's the Titans at Chargers game right there. We think the Chargers are going to keep rolling. Big game right here. Jets at Cardinals. This game could go either way. Go either way.
Let's see if the Jets really have the onions to go get this playoff run.
Do they have the double order?
Do they have the onions? Double order. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it starts this week.
And these are two teams that you've loved watching this year too. So
I love
this
these
has
two
got to be going to be a game probably that you're going to tune in.
Oh, well,
100%.
especially it's a bye week for me.
Right,
So
right,
I will
yeah.
be 100%
Right.
discount double checking that game.
But I mean,
Absolutely.
you've loved watching the Cardinals this year. You've
I
been
do.
all over them. I've been all over
Love
them too. But you
Kyler
love watching the
frickin'
Jets
Murray,
too and Aaron
man.
Rodgers.
Oh.
So
This could be one of my favorite games, I think, this week.
great game for you this week.
This
I
is
think
my
this might be game of the week.
This is my game of the week.
This might be game of the week.
This is Gavin Williams' game of the week.
I'll call game of the
Yeah?
week
All right.
too. I
This
think we'll
is
call
the
this
Out of Bounds game of the week.
Yeah.
A lot of stakes for
Actually,
both
no,
teams.
I won't. I
Okay.
won't because we'll talk about my game of the week in about 2 picks from
Okay.
now.
Gavin Williams' game of the week, just because I love watching these teams so much, and the way I like the Jets playing right now is a little too good against the Texans, because that was a little bit of a late comeback. But if there's a team who knows how to start it and keep it going, it's the Cardinals. Give me the Cardinals here.
Oh, whoa! You got the Cardinals? I thought you were picking the Jets, man. Oh, I got the Cardinals as well. I was gonna make a point that I agree with you about the Jets points. I really do. But under Ulbrich, I just don't like the Jets, man. I just hate the Jets. I'm going with the Cardinals in this game.
I've been questioning their play calls.
Who on that Jets defense is playing a QB spy on Kyler Murray? That's what I want to know.
Kyler
And I would have said it would be Marcus May, but Marcus May is on the Dolphins now. So that won't work, I guess, because he's on a different team. But you need a QB spy on Kyler Murray, and I don't think they have one. That's a big reason why I think he's going to run all over him. I think that the Cardinals are going to win this game.
I agree. Now we go on to a NFC East battle in Jerry World. The Eagles are visiting the Cowboys.
And this is always a good game.
Always.
Might not be this week because
I don't
Dak
think so.
Prescott just went on IR.
And for that reason, I'm going the Eagles.
I had the Eagles as well.
Saquon legacy game if he plays.
You can't pick against the Eagles right now.
Jalen Hurts is
they're
going to
too
go
hot.
off. Yeah.
Too hot. And this is my game of the week right here.
This is a good game of the week right here.
My game of the week. And finally, we're getting a primetime game as game of the week. In my opinion, it's going to be the Lions going down to H-Town.
I think this will actually
Clutch
be
City.
of the week.
And they're going to be playing the Houston Texans. This is a huge game.
Energy Stadium's going to be bumping, man.
Two young teams going at it. Honestly, I don't even know if you can call the Lions a young team anymore.
I don't think so. I
but
don't think you can.
I got the Lions in this game, actually. Going into Houston, winning this game, keeping themselves at the top of the NFC as that 1 seed. And MCDC is going to roll through D'Amico Ryans and the Houston Texans.
You sounded surprised there.
What?
You go, I'm going to choose that Lions, actually.
Yeah.
There's no surprise.
It's a tough game.
There's no surprise.
It's
I'm
a
going
tough
I'm
game.
going with the Lions here as well.
All right.
But I'm not surprised because they're going to go in there to NRG Stadium and they're going to whoop some butt. And I think not by a lot. It's not going to be like a blowout.
I think Nico goes off too.
Well, this is my thing.
If Aiden Hutchinson was playing in this game, I would. Oh my God, Nico Collins versus Aiden Hutchinson
Wow.
would be the matchup of the century for me.
Yeah, but it's not.
I just hate that CJ Stroud is the quarterback. I wish it was JJ.
All right, so I got the Lions here. It's going to be a high-scoring game. Give me 28. No, give me 31-28 Lions.
I would love watching that game. I think you would too. I think America would.
Be a victory.
Because
for
America needs it right now. Dolphins at Rams is the last game of the week.
Give
And
me
that's
the
a Monday
Rams.
night game.
Yeah, it's definitely a Monday night. Could be
It's a
Thursday
Monday night game. I
yeah.
think it could be a Thursday night game, but it is the Monday night game this week.
Give me the
Miami,
Rams.
LA, two warm places going at it in November.
Ugh,
You know, spice
such
it up a little
bad
bit.
Game. I mean, it's weird because it should not be a bad game. We should.
I think I'm going to be
Yeah,
pretty excited for
we
this
should
game,
be excited,
actually.
but I'm just like for some reason I'm not feeling it, but I'm feeling the Rams.
I'm feeling the Rams as
So-
well. And I think this is a game where both teams need to win. Both teams need to get back in the playoff race. And
Rams
I
need a
would
little
say
bit more.
if the Dolphins won last week, that they would be trying to get back in the divisional race with this win. But, you know, Buffalo Bills got that win last week, so I can't really say that. But I do have the Rams winning this week. But I honestly wouldn't be shocked if this is finally the game where Tyreek Hill starts to go off.
I think it easily could be. We'll see though. We will see.
So that's our predictions for Week 10. Once again, these picks will be on our Instagram.
At Out of Bounds Podcast with a dot in between every single word.
And so will our mid-season predictions as well for the playoffs. Those will be up there, both either within the next few days, today or tomorrow, or Friday. One of the next few days. But Gavin, you got anything?
Yeah, let us know if you like this kind of new format we tried out today.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you guys like this
I
more
like it
than
too.
Yeah,
I
we'll
like it
see
too.
if they like this more than the other one.
Yeah.
'Cause If they do, we can adjust.
So you got to let us know.
Gotta let us know in the comments
Got to
below,
let us know.
or on our Instagram, or we have two great listeners out here. and they can always call us.
They can.
They have our phone numbers.
We're not giving that out.
Nope.
We're not giving that out.
That is private.
But if you have our numbers, I mean, feel free to call and give us some criticism.
Yeah, we always need it.
We always need it. All right. Thank you guys. Thanks for listening. And have a week.
Have a day.